Here we go, okay? Bloody Sunday was an occurrence in Alabama in 1965. This man, Jimmy Lee Jackson, was murdered for protecting his mother. And according to the Martin Luther King Jr. Research and Education site, it explains how a policeman shot him in the stomach because of a peaceful march. They were fighting for their rights. And then Jimmy Lee Jackson, he was a deacon, a father, a son, a military man, and only 26 years old.
Was that you, brother?
And so Martin Luther King decided to put together a march. And Jimmy Lee Jackson's death threw it into action where they were going to go from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, which was the capital. And they were doing this so that blacks could have the freedom to vote, because back then they didn't. And so when it happened and the governor, George Wallace, found out about it, he sent all these policemen. And see, they were crossing the bridge going towards Montgomery. And then right here it shows them where they were flogging them with tear gas to keep them from going, and they beat them with whips and with batons to keep them from going where they wanted to, because they were against black people from voting back then.
It's
Keep your hands down, I'm doing a speech, okay, honey?
What batons?
They're like sticks you hit people with. And see right here, it shows them, see?
I
They're
can't-
beating these people down, and they just want to have the right to vote. So they're doing all this for very important reasons. So, according to a journal article called Selma and Civil Rights, it stated how there started off being 600 people, but when it was nationally televised that they were getting beaten, 25,000 people started to march, and they came down to Alabama to help. And so, I want to start off by most of us in here today are old enough to vote. And we all complain about the economy and the government on a daily basis. But what right do we have to really complain if you don't vote, right? So, these are reasons why we should vote. Our national debt is almost $9 trillion. Gas prices are going up due to oil prices. Lots of people don't have jobs, and there's crooked politicians out there. I've done a lot of research recently on the topic of voting. I mainly focused my research on understanding why most people don't vote in the elections pertaining to our state and to our country, and what people have done in the past so they could have the right to vote, like them people in the march. Okay, today, first I'll tell you about why you need to vote, how to become registered to vote, and what could happen if you don't vote versus what could happen if you do. So we're going to start off with why you need to vote. Okay? For example, an article in the current online Metrolink expansion, or Metrolink right here is a seat. It's going to be expanded 5.3 miles east in Illinois, which is the train we ride, you know? So they raised people's taxes in St. Louis a half a cent in regards to county tax to bring in $75 million a year to help with the expansion. The proposition passed this last year in April, and it affects us all whether we ride the Metrolink or not. Because like we use it to go to the 4th of July, right? And so it affects us. And the next I'm going to talk to you about... Yes? This document called Missouri Voters Face Sweeping Church-State Change. It's about a proposition that's going to try to be passed next year in 2012. And it's a proposition to be voted on in Missouri. And it'll give people the right to pray in public places, including schools, like where you all go to school and daycare and stuff. And colleges, like where Mama goes. And you don't have to do any homework that you want to consider is against your religion. So you can just say, hey, that's against my religion, and then you don't have to do it. Wouldn't that be cool? But you gotta vote, but you're not 18 yet. Anyway, in an article from The Economist thoughtfully named Show Me a Showdown, explains how Missouri is a bellwether state, which means that we're very important when it comes to elections, because 25 out of the last 26 presidents were who Missourians wanted to be president.
Mom, you like her and her, but not me.
Okay, let me finish my speech. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about, guys, is why you need to vote. So according to an article, 5 top reasons why youth should vote, and you all are the youth, it says, sadly underestimated by party and analysts, which means that they don't think you're going to vote. Second, biggest election issues often directly affect the youth of the nation. So most things that are voted upon affects the younger people. Maybe not now, but eventually, because you all are the future of our country. And thirdly, democracy only works if citizens, young and old, are active participants. You have to vote. 4, if you don't vote, you really have no right to complain about government decisions you don't like. And 5, you should vote because you simply can. So now that we've talked about why you should vote, let's talk about how to become registered to vote. On Missouri Secretary of State homepage, which is www.sos.mo.gov, it says there's 3 easy ways to vote: print and mail, pick up and mail, and request and mail. So print and mail, you can go to this website, you can actually print the registration form, fill it out, and mail it in. And it'll tell you where to mail it. And then pick up and mail, you can go to a DMV, like where you get your car titles and stuff like that, or to a county clerk's office in the city, and then mail it as well. Or you can request it in mail. So you can go to this online and request them that they send you a registration form. Your qualification to register to vote, this is to register. You only have to be 17 and a half to register. You just have to be 18 by the election day. And you have to be a U.S. citizen and a Missouri resident to register here in Missouri, okay?
Because there's some people that come out from different countries.
Illegal immigrants can't vote because they're not from here, honey. Okay, so in a journal called Why Do People Vote? A psychological analyst of the causes of voter turnout, it states 2 main reasons why most people don't vote. They don't have the time because they're working or they're busy, or the cost of driving. They don't want to pay for the high oil prices and such. And Daddy, stop it. And an article by Keith Mandel called Proposal to Lower the Voting Age says how they're going to try to perhaps change the voting age from 18 to 16, which means you all get to vote even sooner. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
And so they want to get the youth involved because you all are the future of our nation. And parents would perhaps vote more to be good role models for their children. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we talked about how to register to vote, let's talk about what could happen if you don't vote versus what could happen if you do vote.
Mama.
Okay, so imagine all of you in here are U.S. citizens.
Mommy.
And you represent the whole country of voting people. Okay? So now all of you who are old enough to vote, I want you to raise your hand. Pretend you are old enough. Okay, now let me tell you. Okay? So if they, keep your hands up. If they put a proposition out there that would allow children to have all the candy they wanted for free, would you want that?
Yeah!
Okay. Now tell me, how many of you are actually registered to vote?
1, 2, 3,
All of you put your hands down. Put your hands down. You're not registered. You can't vote. Okay, so none of you are registered. So if we had to have a majority, which means most of you vote for this free candy proposition to pass, there have to be at least 3 of you with your hands up. But nope. But as you can see, none of you are registered to vote. So no free candy. So this is what happens. If you don't get what you want because you can't vote, what are you? But if you were registered to vote, you know what you would be? Happy! So, do you want to be sad because you didn't get to vote? Or do you want to be happy?
Happy!
So what do you need to do to be happy?
I'll be mad!
Yeah, so what do you need to do to be happy? Say vote! And what do you got to do so you can vote? Be registered. Very good. Okay. Now I want to talk about me for a second. I've been on probation for a little while, and so I can't register to vote because they take my rights away when you're on probation. So you all are very lucky that one day you'll be able to vote. Mommy will be like next year, but not at the moment, okay? So many people take it for granted, and you all need to not take it for granted, okay? Okay, so this is what I brought in today. So imagine I have a big pile of these so you all can fill them out. I'll pass them out to you, okay? So you're going to fill this out today so that you can register to vote. Cool?
Yeah!
Okay. And this I wanted to show you all. Look guys, this is a picture of all the people who have died so that they could have the right just to vote that you all will have, okay?
There's Mr. Jackson.
Okay, so now that you know the negative and positive impacts of voting, along with why you should vote and how to register to vote, what are you waiting for? Fill out this voter registration form today. Don't allow the many people who fought for the right to vote in our country to have acted in vain. Your voice matters, so let it be heard. Vote. Say vote.
Vote!